Raise your horns high and let your spirit flow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show. Feel the rush, let the loudness grow. It's the classic metal wrap-up show.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are back, and for this next segment, we are going to have to feature some serious Don Dokken revelations, and this first one here is very important that you pay attention to all the details. If you might have been in Hawaii in 1991, we're going to want to hear from you, especially if you have any information regarding this incident. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's Unsolved Mysteries of the CMS. This is the beating of Don Dokken, 80s rock legend Don Dokken. So here you go. Take a look at that.
Unsolved Mysteries of the CMS, brought to you by the Classic Metal Wrap Up Show. On this edition of Unsolved Mysteries of the CMS, we explore the beating of legendary 80s rock icon Don Dokken. On an episode of the Classic Metal Show, radio host Wendell Neely made startling claims about his dear friend Don Dokken being beaten within an inch of his life by an unknown mysterious assailant. Who was this culprit? Was this a case of mistaken identity, or something far more nefarious? On this episode of Unsolved Mysteries of the CMS, we will explore the tale of Don Dokken being beaten with a 2x4 so severely it crippled him for the rest of his life. During an episode of the Classic Metal Show, radio host Wendell Neely told the tall tale of Don Dokken, his dear friend, being beaten within an inch of his life by a masked unknown assailant with a 2x4 while on tour in Hawaii for the Up From the Ashes album in 1991. The tale goes that Don Dokken may have been mistaken for legendary rock drummer Mikkey Dee.
Yes, I'm here to pick up the keys for a room I have reserved under the name Dr. G. I'm sick.
The story goes that as Don Dokken settled into his hotel room for the night, he was rudely awakened by a masked intruder, beating him repeatedly within an inch of his life as he begged for mercy.
Oh, what?
The mysterious masked assailant continued the beating, striking Don in his shoulders, neck, and back.
Oh God, my back! Oh, if only I had the help of some weak-willed cuck to call 911, or else maybe tonight I'll be gone! Get back here! Get back here, you son of a bitch! Get back here! Get you to hell! I'll get you!
Here's my spine.
Wow. Holy smokes.
Yeah. 13 titanium screws.
Who was this masked assailant, and why was he trying to take out the legendary Dream Warrior? Or was this just a simple case of mistaken identity? Also for this edition, we must ask ourselves, could someone in 1991 have mistaken Don Dokken for drummer Mikkey Dee? Could someone have mistaken the legendary frontman for the legendary Swedish Styxman? And did Mikkey Dee just get lucky? So for this episode, we spoke to a neck, head, and spine specialist to find out if the injuries to Don Dokken were consistent with a beating by the hands of an assailant with a 2x4. Head, neck, and spine specialist Jeffrey McGruber agreed to speak with us without showing his face. He will tell us how the injuries may have happened to Don Dokken.
The injuries to the patient from the x-rays and scans I can see are definitely consistent with the beating by something kind of a blunt instrument. but could also have happened from some type of physical altercation, or a car accident, or a motorcycle accident.
Mr. McGruber, when you say physical altercation, do you mean a possible fight with a roadie, a band member, or some random person at a bar?
Yes, exactly. If the bandmate was a bodybuilder or used steroids and was strong enough, they most certainly could inflict these type of blunt force injuries.
Well, that is very revealing. Thank you for your time, Mr. McGruber. For this episode, I also spoke to the former front desk clerks of all Hawaii Ramadas to find out if there is any records in 1991 of an altercation taking place with legendary rocker Don Dokken. The former front desk manager wished to remain anonymous but said we could call him Skippy. Skippy, was there any record of Don Dokken being in your hotel in 1991 and having an altercation?
No, there was never any record of a Don Dokken and his band coming to the hotels in 1991 anywhere on the Hawaiian Islands. I definitely would have known. He was definitely a big star back then, and an altercation would have definitely been something I would have remembered.
I agree 100%, Skippy. A beating like that to a legendary rock star is something you can't forget. Thank you for your time. We then conducted a simple Google search for Don Dokken show dates in 1991 for the Up From the Ashes tour, but there were no dates reported for a show in Hawaii. In summation, we can find no concert dates having taken place in the year of 1991 for Don Dokken in the state of Hawaii, and with no track records of him ever being in a hotel room with his band and an altercation taking place. We must ask ourselves, is this story a complete fabrication? We have to ask ourselves, did this tragic incident take place? Who beat Don Dokken? Who was behind the mask? If you have any idea who this culprit is, you can contact the Classic Metal Wrap Up Show and we will keep you anonymous. We want to find out what exactly happened that led to Don Dokken being permanently disfigured. He deserves justice. On the next Unsolved Mysteries of the CMS, we will discuss the vanishing of the CMS Summer Barbecue of 2025. Did it happen? Or was it just a fairy tale?
We're back from the Unsolved Mysteries of the CMS. So you just saw...
What the fuck? That's pretty intense stuff. I mean, he took a beating.
He took a beating from someone, a deranged person with a 2x4 in a hotel room in Hawaii in 1991. And we don't know who this masked assailant was. And the rumors are flying that this was actually intended for Mickey D, but maybe the individual did or did not know who he was actually beaten on. But
Right.
this has led, as you guys saw, to the crippling of Don Dokken.
crippling of
long
Don.
term.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, but this guy and his lies anymore, it's like it's hard to believe that any of his stories. So I feel bad that he took a beating, but maybe it was well deserved. Maybe it was for something he did and he tried to brush it off and say that it was meant for Mickey D.
Well, there's a lot of factors there. As we showed, the Unsolved number one issue is there was no live concerts for Don Dokken's band in Hawaii. So this had to be a personal
Up
trip.
from the ashes.
Which some people have already mentioned to me that they think that's what it was. It was a personal trip. And if that's the case, cool. But I don't know, like conversely, if I was to take my wife and children on a vacation, I don't know that I'm telling Mickey D and Peter Baltus to tag along. That just sounds weird.
That's
to me.
weird.
Like,
and he doesn't seem like the type that would, pay for their way there.
So the whole story doesn't make sense in that regard. You have to ask your question: was this person really looking for Mickey, or were they looking for Don? And because Don said or did something wrong, or maybe Don, if Don can sleep with Bobby's wife or ex-wife, as it was at the time, is it not wrong to think that maybe Don banged someone else's wife while he was in Hawaii? And this Hawaiian came along looking for some payback? I mean, we don't really know. That's why it's an unsolved mystery. We need your guys' help, ladies and gentlemen, because Don is suffering to this day, and the masked assailant has never been revealed. And now, if we can find out who the masked assailant is, we would like to have them on the wrap-up show to uncork the mystery, and they can tell us why they were beating Don.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. Again, maybe Don was stirring shit up on his vacation, and he was claiming his name was Mickey D, so they wouldn't find his room. But they still found him. Oh, yeah.
As one of the specialists I found regarding the head, neck, and back said, maybe it could have been some other car accident or an altercation with a band member who's kind of bodybuilder type guy with a lot of strength, and maybe the guitar player was pissed off and on the roids.
It was Jim Gillette from Nitro. Taught him a thing or two.
I think he worked out with Mr. Lynch. I think they were gym buddies. And decided that they were going to tired of Don's shit, so they were going to take it out on him. I'm just making jokes, George. We don't think you're that kind of guy. It's just that. But you do have to wonder if this was something else in Don's life that really caused the spine problems and back problems and neck problems, and it was compounded by a lack of taking care of oneself and a lack of probably having the issue addressed earlier in life. It probably only got worse as he got old. So But in the end, honestly, Don, as you saw, we reenacted this as close as we could. We put some effort into this, much more effort than gets put into the actual CMS. And in the end, we just want to unravel the mystery. Who was this masked assailant, and what was he doing to our dear friend? At that time, Don could still sing. He was a talented frontman of a famous rock band. So don't know why he received such a beating, repeated beating too, as he lay in the hotel room taking the 2x4. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, that's that one. Now we're just going to give you something short and sweet. And this was just my creation because, Don thinks that we hate him probably. That these guys over on this Wrap Up Show are a bunch of assholes. Neely said so.
And that's fine. I mean, that's fine. But yeah, gosh, he's just a miserable dude.
Yeah. But I thought, and there was nothing wrong with the Hard Rock Woman video. It was kind of an interesting little concept he had put together. Having the chick dance and the retro vibes to it. But I just kind of went ahead and took the same idea, but took it a little bit further because in 2025, he made it look like it was 1975.
Yeah.
In 2025, a Hard Rock Woman looks a little different than it did back then. So we're going to let you play a little bit of this. This is Evil's Hard Rock Woman edit for Dawn, and you guys can take a look at that one. So enjoy. There you go. So you just had some Hard Rock Woman, some ladies of the night dancing around the streets, high under the influence of drugs, and all it took. How this came to my mind was I hit Hard Rock Woman on a YouTube search. Well, it shows the Dawn video, but it shows videos of chicks on drugs, and I thought,
was that filmed in Portland?
I believe one or two of those were in the Pacific Northwest, Seattle or Portland. There was a couple that were down south, I believe, in Texas and LA. But ladies living on the streets on the rock, doing some crazy stuff. So just a different edit for you, Don. I know it won't be as popular as the one you put out, but
Right.
maybe for shits and giggles and laughs, you could show it to the guys in the band.
Oh,
The girl in the puddle in the alley, particularly, is on a hell of a bender, and she must think she's in a giant bathtub or something. By the way, she's cleaning herself in the mud puddle. So
yeah.
So now we have a couple other things about. So now we've had some mysteries to unsolve. We've got a
Mhm.
alternate of the Hard Rock Woman video, and so there's a couple other things you found recently on.
Yeah,
the,
there were the clips. So let's see if we can get that one up right now. All right, so I think you can see this in a minute here.
Mhm. There you go.
Yeah, the Don. So hopefully I can get this going here. But this is the one where Don is sitting, and this was brought up by Neely. Remember? You got him a chair.
Chair.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but look at him. What the fuck?
Well, so Neely kept trying to clearly
Minimize.
insinuate this
Yeah.
is a stool, not a chair. Aiken's saying it's a chair. As you can see, it's a bar stool with a back like a chair. So
Right.
it's in between either way. Neely, it doesn't really make a difference. This
Yeah.
is something that's stuck in your and Don's head that we give a shit whether Don's sitting or standing.
And remember,
at his age, we probably understand why he might need to sit
Right.
down once in a while.
but if you remember, they were quick to point out when Jack Russell was having to do this, right?
Mhm.
And would make this, all these comments. But, when it's Don, it's okay.
Apparently, okay. I go back to it. I kind of understood what Neely was saying, and I understand how they're trying to spin this. But don't you think that there's moments in some of these Dokken songs where John could go off on an extended guitar solo for an extra round or two, and that's when Don should just step behind an amp and have that chair scene right there with an
Right.
oxygen mask like Klaus from the Scorpions would
Right.
have.
Yeah.
Angus from AC/DC, every time he walks off the stage is getting oxygen.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, have a little station built behind the bass rig for Don to step in there and get a drink and some air and sit down and take a break while John rips an extra solo for 60 more seconds or 2 minutes or something. No one would notice the fucking difference. If you're really that worried about how
Right.
it appears, but
Yeah,
I
and a
think
piss
most of the people in
bucket
the
so he doesn't
crowd-
piss himself.
I would suggest that as well. Yes.
But so anyways, so let's watch this clip. I mean, it's not very long, but it was one of those clips that we talked about where there's several very honest comments,
Commentaries,
and then there's the homers like the Neelys and the Shelley Roxes and that woman that used to be in the Facebook page.
Yeah, Neely tried to make it sound like this show was pretty good. So let's hear the pretty good. Let's see what Don's got.
All right, well, let's hear it. So here we go. And I think you figured out what song it was. It took me like a few seconds to go, what the fuck are they playing? Because it almost seems like the band's playing one song and he's trying to
He's so low.
do the whispering through the song, right?
Well, what he's doing that makes it worse, actually, technically speaking. Now, it's better for his voice, and I understand why he's
Right.
doing it because at his age. It's just that every time he would normally have gone up in the register, he's going down in the register.
Mhm.
And it makes it sound even more like he's
Right.
talking instead of singing. And
Right.
as he does it each time, it does sound
Sounds
weird.
bad. Again, man, I mean, he's just a fucking mess, this guy. But it took a while to figure out what he was playing. And again, I don't know how you could feel good walking off stage or limping off stage going, yeah, I gave it, a great performance for these, handful of couple hundred people that, paid $30-$40 to see you that night. I mean, fuck.
And I'm just going to be calling it like I see it, man. John Bon Jovi's 20 years younger, but when he gets on stage or before he gets on stage, he probably has a masseuse loosening him up.
Sure.
He's probably got a vocal coach. He's got things going on to prep for this stage show he's going to do. I get the feeling that Don just rolled out of the hotel bed, grabbed a cold cocktail and walks on cold. And then, my
Smoked a
back's
couple
hurting,
cigarettes.
oh yeah. Like, dude. So if you're making the kind of money that Neely claims you're making, Don, what is it that much out of your pocket to say, hey, make sure there's a masseuse 2 hours before showtime at my hotel room for an hour to make sure my back's loosened up before I hit the stage?
I think there was
The extra $150 is going to break your fucking bank, Don?
I
don't
think it
understand.
was this particular post where somebody said,
He's-
"Well, give him." Somebody said, "Give him a break. He's had a botched back surgery." I'm like, okay, so I posted something like, okay, based on your large logic, Terry Bradshaw should still be playing in the NFL, and the NFL, the league, should be accommodating his shortcomings so he can still play in the league. I mean, it's just
Yeah.
ridiculous.
And I'll go another step further. Why there's no excuse for this. He's in a casino, right? Doesn't he admit this was a casino gig?
Right, right.
Every casino has a spa. Every casino has a spa. Every single one in America.
Right.
They all, I mean, unless it's like the chintziest Indian
Sure.
casino, they ain't got no swimming pool, nothing. If it's worth anything, they got a spa. So that means there's a guy in that hotel. If Don had called down there a couple hours ahead, say, I'm Don Doc, could perform tonight in the main showroom because there's somebody that could squeeze me in for a 45-minute back massage. My back's killing me. They would have said, yeah, come on down here, Don. We'll take it off your pay, but we can come out here and get some service. And I was just saying, whatever, this is what makes us think, Neely, when you say he doesn't need the money, he does things that
He
look
does need
cheap
the money.
and like that he doesn't have the money. Otherwise, those
Yeah.
kinds of things would, because again, if it was worth it so much to make that many thousand for him to sing at the casino that night, what is it that big of a fucking deal to part with $250 for a fucking massage for 2 hours or something? I don't get it, dude. So
Yeah, and I know they bragged about the money that he's made. It's like, yeah, but the money could be gone. I mean, look at Ace Frehley. He owed more than he was worth. So
yeah, and I don't even profess to know where they were married or where they were divorced or how many times, but most of these guys have at least one ex-wife, sometimes two. And when you have at least one, I'm going to bet she got 50% of what you had
Yeah.
when that happened. So
Well,
even if if you're in the peak of your career, right? You're the peak,
Yeah.
you're Ace Frehley and Kiss. And well, in the case of Ace, that's probably why he
yeah.
didn't get the final divorce. But
Mhm.
if he had gotten the divorce at that moment, that means 50% of what he had made up to Kiss until 1982 is gone.
Right.
So
Well,
it's
I
very
mean-
easy to see how the money would disappear.
Yeah. I mean, even if you think about this, I mean, geez. Slash, remember the reason Slash wound up finally breaking down and doing the GNR reunion, because Duff was already on board for a few shows, and it was when he got divorced, if you remember.
Because Perla took
Yeah.
50% of
Yeah.
everything he had.
So he was
which
like,
in
"Fuck."
California, you're going to do. California doesn't
Yep.
matter who did what. They're just going to split all of the assets and money 50-50, which means Slash lost 50%
Yeah.
of his whole worth.
He lost his
And
ass.
and in some cases, in California, that judge may fuck him worse and say, not only that, but now you're going to pay this many thousand every month for her to take care of those kids wherever she's living. So now he has even more of a reason to go play shows, because not only does he need to recoup his pocketbook, he has to pay her every fucking month the payment. So what I'm saying is I'm the opposite. I think how a course of if you're Ace and you're 72 years old, your peak period you made money was 20 to 30. That's 40 something years. You gotta try to figure out how to live on the less money,
Right.
Because all that Kiss money. Now he had the reunion, and that bolstered him up. But I think I remember reading he only took $20 or $25 million home
Yeah.
at the end of that reunion.
Right.
That's not in his lifestyle with the mansions and the girls and the cars, the gambling, the drugs, the alcohol.
Yeah.
That's going to go out the door. A daughter who has to go to college, ex-wife to pay for. I'm telling you, it's just going to,
Yeah.
it's not, people don't realize how quickly the money just comes out the account. And let's throw it like this. Ace Frehley, Don Dock, and whatever, they're not Gene Simmons, which
No.
means they're not going to manage the money right. They're probably going to have accountants and lawyers and managers who are all going to take a cut, and then some of those are shisty and took more than their fair share of the cut. So if you see how quickly this could change in someone's life, and I was surprised Ace had $1 million, to be quite frank. I thought it was going to be in the negative even more.
Yeah.
Just be like, as for Don, we know he has at least one ex-wife. He has 2 or 3 kids. So there's payments, I guarantee you, that were being made every single month for most of his life to these people to make sure that they survive and have something to eat and a roof over their head too. And I'm not blaming him, because guess what? He's Don Dokken and he's 70 years old, and if he was a decent dude, he probably was taking care of it. His daughter needed something. I'm sure he bought her the car, made sure she went to college, or she had the wedding. I'm going to guess Don helped pay for that wedding, right? So, totally get it. But what I'm saying is, Neely, don't try to act like he doesn't need the money. If he didn't need the money, he wouldn't put himself through it. Who wants to go work when you don't need to, dude? If anyone has any logic and says, I actually could just put my feet up till death and not work, they're going to. So,
and don't you wonder about this dickhead Don, though? I mean, if you were him, wouldn't you go into like maybe producing younger bands, new bands, co-writing with them, getting into like that kind of end of things? I mean, he still has a foot in it, or a hand in it, and and he could still have a little bit of that, but not go embarrass him like he's doing in these videos.
I think that, in my opinion, the problem with that theory is that then if I'm the musician, I got a band, I got some dope. I'm the project. I'm the guy in the project. I got money in my pocket from my day job as a lawyer, a chiropractor, a doctor, or whatever the fuck I'm doing in LA. And I'm going to pay someone to help me make an album. You can make it with Don Dokken, or you can get Bo Hill or Werman or a couple other guys who are sitting around on the internet, where all you got to do is email them the tracks, and then they'll go through them and mix and master them and chop shit up and make it sound nice for you. In my opinion, I'm going with Bo Hill or Werman or any of these guys, Bob Ezrin's, whoever's out there still doing it. Eddie Kramer or somebody else, all these guys, because they have a more proven track record. I can go over that again. What album are you going to show me that Don produced that sounds stellar?
Yeah.
Even the ones he did with Up from the Ashes is with someone else. It was a co-produced, right? There was another guy helping him. I don't know. Either way.
Yeah. I think somebody did co-produce that. I forget.
And I'm not saying that's a bad record. I'm just saying overall, you would say, like, if you're going to pay someone to go in the studio and be my producer, I think I'm looking for someone with the Tom Werman credentials. And the guy, Twisted Sister, Motley Crue. I mean, his name off these bands, and he helped sell millions of records. So,
I mean, I think when I think of stuff that Don has actually produced, it's been Great White and XYZ. So, I mean, it's not been any major.
List. Yeah.
Let's see.
And he's kind of like Gene Simmons or Paul Stanley. I mean, yeah, they can do it. And I'm not saying they would do a bad job. I just think you're going to get more bang for your buck and more mileage from someone who's truly invests themselves in that end of it. They're not a singer. They're not a bass player. They're a fucking producer.
Right.
You get the impression that Bo Hill he's going to sit and listen to your shit and adjust them volumes and the treble and the bass and the mids and the effects appropriately, because he knows what he's doing.
Right.
Some of those guys are still doing it, and you can get a hold of the internet. Some are not, so that might be part of it. But yeah, let's hear Don.
Let's finish this one, because it's a good one.
He's going to get to the breaking the chains chorus, and we got to hear.
Here we go. And the good thing about these clips is that they're mercifully very short.
Yeah. What was that?
Dude looks like a fucking Muppet on that chair,
Whoa.
like a ventriloquist dummy.
Free.
My God.
How's he doing?
I feel bad. I mean, I almost feel bad for him. He's such a dick.
I do.
That I don't feel that bad for him. Feel bad for him. I don't.
Yeah, I do feel bad for him, because I think that part of what makes him a dick is that he's physically miserable, and I think that's not entirely of his doing. I think that the botched surgery, possibly a beating from a masked assailant, has led to this situation. And I'm just saying, I don't know. Goddamn, I don't know.
I mean, again, I think we had that conversation about the never meet your heroes. He's one of those guys that you just wish you'd never met.
There's been a few definitely in my life that I met that I walked away going, I kind of wish I didn't do that.
Yeah.
And then there was ones I should always preface this. I met Lou Ferrigno once, the Incredible Hulk guy.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Totally nice. amazing individual. Talk to you whether you're buying something or not. Wanted to hear about you, where you're from, all that kind of stuff. Just cared to listen. Who are you? How did you find about me? And I was like, I was more into your bodybuilding than the whole. I like the Hulk too, but your bodybuilding to me, could have kicked Arnold's ass in my opinion.
Right.
And so he was totally like, here's a guy who has no reason to give a fuck who the hell I am. We're at a comic thing with all these other superhero movie people, and he's got a line of people, but he was still just sitting there bullshit with everyone that came up, whether you bought something or not. And I just thought, there's a dude who's just like a regular guy, even though he was in a lot of movies and Mr. Olympia shit. So it depends on the person, man. Some of them appreciate where they are in life, and then some of them are, well, I didn't get the I didn't get the 2 million from this, and I had to divvy it up with them for that, and I didn't get this, and that didn't work out, and I got the bot surgery. He's just, woe is me. It's the donkey. It's Eeyore. It's Eeyore. You lost your mic. No mic. He's got another clip here.
Yeah, I was going to run this clip because we got to get to the second clip. And this one, I don't know if this one's better or worse, but here we go. Is this
the same show or a different show?
I think this is a different show.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a different show. There is a point in this video where he's looking up towards the ceiling. It almost has this kind of look on his face like, God, just take me now. We watch out, you'll see it. Again, thankfully, these clips are very short because, it's like listening to a wounded animal suffering. Here we go. There he is. Oh, well, there you go.
It's the spoken word tour, ladies and gentlemen, whether you want it or not. He should,
again, and remember, as we executive produced the CMS, they were also talking, I think we mentioned this about doing the acoustic tour, but that should have happened 20 years ago. I think at this point that's kind of that's long gone now. I mean, you're going to have more of this. Yeah.
I think it would be better than what they're doing, but yeah, he's every year that you don't do it, he's getting worse and worse, and then pretty soon, it won't be good at all. So
I really think that prior to him doing that solitary record, I think is when he right before a few years before he did that, I think I had mentioned to you because I had spoken with Shanker a number of times. And I always kept on asking him about hey, are you ever going to do that acoustic album with Don Dokken? And I guess he laid vocals on one tune, but he didn't get through anything else. Like, I think Shanker almost led me to believe that he was waiting for him to just kind of, put some vocals over it and do some lyrics and stuff. And it never happened. So he just moved on from it.
Yeah. And there seems to be a lot of, with Don, like, every time they would bring up the Dokken reunion, well, Jeff's got Foreigner, and it's like, so you can't look at the calendar and go, well, Foreigner's not touring in May and April, so let's squeeze some Dokken dates in there.
Right.
It's a lack of want to. He says that so he doesn't have to say what the truth is, which is, I don't want to pay them.
Right. Wouldn't it be? I was thinking about this last night. I mean, wouldn't it be awesome? And what would the reaction be? I think Don's head would explode if for whatever reason they announced George Lynch was the new guitarist in Foreigner.
That would definitely, because he would be making way more dough than Don. They'd be leaving Don financially in the dust, and
and he gets to play with a former bandmate that he gets along with well.
Yeah, and I go back to it with the Mick Brown thing, like his exit of stage right or left or wherever way he went. And the silence that followed speaks volumes because, I don't think he has any particular reason to go out of his way to be a dick to Don, but you can clearly see that is not a friendship. It was a business relationship. And as soon as Mick can be done with that relationship, he didn't want to deal with it anymore. And so I think that says a lot, people, because my guess is that from the interviews Mick sounds like a pretty regular, chill dude. So he might drink too many cocktails once in a while, but a lot of people like to do that. And I just think that the way that exit happened and the silence that's followed it says a lot about how he feels about the band and the where it was and the way that's being run by its leader. So,
Right.
and I don't care what anyone says, dude. The whole thing, this has always been for him about the dough because
Mhm.
that's what he bitches about most in those interviews. About it's not that I miss having George and Jeff in my band. The harmonies of me and Mick and Jeff was so
Mhm.
good. I wish I could get that. No, it's always about I wish I didn't pay them. I wish I didn't cut them in on the
Right.
every time. And it's like,
Yeah.
so it's very clear that he doesn't have as much money as Neely thinks he does. Because
Yeah.
clearly Don's bitching that he lost
It's all
millions of dollars.
Yeah, it's all about
And
money.
yeah. And and then when he says he left and tried to keep Dokken together, that's not true. I mean,
Right.
Jeff said it's not true. George says it's not true. Mick says it's not true. It's not true. You didn't try to keep it together. You thought you could get the renewal on a new contract with the record
Mhm.
company money all to yourself, and that's what you wanted. And you were taking no, didn't fucking give a shit if let's say I think at the time they were on Elektra, and Elektra
Mhm.
probably said, "We don't want Dawn Dokken, we want Dokken Band." And so
Yeah.
Dawn said, "Good, then I'm going to shop myself." So then he found the $2 million from Geffen and said, "I'm keeping $2 million. And that's $2 million that Dawn and or George and Jeff and Mick don't get a piece of." And I can pay Mickey D 50 grand to play drums, and here we go. So whatever it is, I'm just saying, Dawn, it's Neely, you're liars. It's always been about money
Yeah.
for Dawn. That's the reason why these things won't, because again, Foreigner doesn't tour 12 months out of 12 months, bro.
Mhm.
So Mick Brown is sitting in Arizona, probably playing pool right now, drinking beer.
Right.
George Lynch clearly goes out and does shows year round. And I'm sure if you told him 6 or 9 months in advance, we got some Doc and reunion shows, he's going to say, I got October and September available for you, Don. Let's do it. So the issue's you, Don. It's you don't want to cut them in. You don't want to do that. I think even Jeff at this point in time would tell you, hey, next year I have these 2 or 3 months available if
Right.
you want to do half a dozen Dokken dates. But Don doesn't want to split the loot. This is Izzy Stradlin says it. You all need to go call Izzy Stradlin. He said it. These guys don't want to cut the loot equally. That's the term right there. It's not just cutting the loot, it's equally.
Mhm.
They don't want to do that. Axel don't want it. Don don't want it. The reason why Skid Row's not ever going to get back together is because I guarantee you Sebastian Bach's going to ask for more than his 20%. And then Rachel's going to say, fuck you. And so it's just, that's the truth. Izzy is speaking truth. When they don't want to cut the loot equally, it falls apart. The only bands that ever stayed together cut the loot equally. So yes, as far as songwriting and publishing, Paul McCartney's going to get more. But when they went out and played live or did something like a record contract and got the advance money, Ringo got his share just like John, Paul, and George, even though he was just beating on the fucking kit because they wanted to keep him in the fucking band. And how do you keep that? You try to keep it 25%. Where did the Beatles go wrong? When they lost Brian Epstein to suicide, it fell apart. Paul wanted one manager. John, George, and Ringo wanted a different manager. So he wanted Mr. Eastman. They wanted Mr. Klein. There's your division. So, but in the end, that's what fails them all. I mean, the reason why you don't,
Right.
it's not, let's be real. It's not that Steven Adler can't play Welcome to the Jungle because
Right.
he plays Welcome to the
Right.
Jungle every night.
Yeah.
It isn't because Izzy won't go out there. Izzy made it very clear. If the loot was cut equally, Izzy will be on stage playing rhythm
Right.
guitar. But as soon as they said Axel gets 40% and Slash gets
Mhm.
35% and you guys only get 15 or 10, Izzy said, fuck you. I'm out of here, dude. So, and I would think, I don't know how to work these numbers. I know that Guns N' Roses sold way more albums, but Izzy only had a small percentage of those albums. But his publishing and his royalties from that classic Guns N' Roses catalog equals he doesn't have to work for the rest of his life. He has a home and he has a place and he's good to go. So if Izzy can do that, I'm sure Dawn doesn't have to work. And if was the case, Neely, then again, tell him to get the fuck off the road. So stop moaning and groaning,
Right.
sitting on a bar stool on stage in a casino,
Well,
telling people that your back hurts when the fucking spa's downstairs and you failed to go in there.
so so maybe we'll I had some album stuff, but maybe we can do that next time. We end on a high note though. We can do some Bob Leather interactions online.
Yes.
There's
Yes,
just
you-
2, and we'll have
Yes.
another one when we share the Brad Gillis one. But
Yes.
let's see what we can do here.
And we should mention that this is, Bob was banned from social media for quite a minute there, probably a couple of weeks. He was struggling to find his way back in. But he did return with a new. If you're looking for him, it's Bob Leather's Filth, and then there's a Robert Leatherman.
Well, there's 1 and 1, so this one's the Bob Leather's Filth. But he says, "Here come the retards with the Thanksgiving pics." And then I had mentioned here, I said, "Well, which is worse in your opinion, the Thanksgiving selfies, the food pics, or the virtue signaling Thanksgiving memes?" And he says, "What?" So what? I think I confused him a little.
I think what is just he probably thinks all of this is fucking ridiculous, which is part of the reason why I threw up the Thanksgiving food on mine, because I knew he would see that and he'd probably go, "Fucking what the
hell?" And then here's the other one. Oh, here we go. So he's
this is
he goes, "Some members of Light Assembly have sent me links to put our put out on our shit list. The latest link is of Tracy Guns. Ron Keel, you are not on the list."
So Ron Gillis I think he's gotten so many people on the list, he bumped Ron off. He decided Ron doesn't quite meet the.
But here's where he said he has this hard on for Brad Gillis. So Brad Gillis is definitely on the list. And he says if you post a picture of yourself, you may be on our list, and if you promote stupid art, you may be on the list. But look at this. Chez Kane caught shrapnel. First woman. Chez Kane is on the list. We have to ask him why. Like, I really need to know why.
That's me. I sent him some videos of her doing...
the 80s. Yeah.
Yes. I sent him. So I said, "Shares a kind of a girl doing the retro." And so she immediately popped onto his radar, and he doesn't like that.
So she's on the list. Trickster, of course. So, and we know Steve Brown. Yeah. And then Anton LaVey. And John Wayne Gacy.
John Gacy is definitely on the list.
And then he says, "I am the judge." So can you believe that shit? This guy's a fucking nut, and I like him. Yes. I mean, he definitely has no filter. And no filter. Right. I mean, he disappeared for a couple weeks, but now he's back.
Because he told me I might not they're just going to keep kicking me off, and I just told him, I said, "But that's admitting defeat, and what we as the Resistance Alliance need to do is to constantly create burner accounts and make them guess who you are and where you're coming from." And so I said, just come up with a different name, alter the name a little bit, and it'll take Facebook another 6 months or a year to come back around and boot you if they think you're fake or whatever. I've faced the same thing. They've slowly, like YouTube, they've kind of relaxed a little bit on some of it. Let's be real. Bob Leather really pushes the limits of vulgarity of the photos and the things he's posting. But like, we've only had one time that they took an issue with our video, and that was the Bob Leather episode, because of Bob talking trash about his brother Tommy Crash and saying he was semen on someone's panties. They thought that was offensive to Tommy Crash, and that Tommy Crash may, self-harm or something, because and I tried to explain to him, but they're brothers. This is a brotherly war. So in the end, we lost that one. We had to take that one down, but they left the Bob's clip up, and it's by itself, which is weird, because really it was me reading it, I guess, that bothered them. So what I'm saying is, Bob, don't quit. Don't let the system get you down. Robert Leatherman is a brilliant name, and just do what you do. I personally have, especially around the time of the pandemic, they were being extra heavy-handed, and I multiple times I didn't even say shit. I just pulled a meme off a meme group and posted a meme, and they went, "Oh, you can't post that meme." I'm like, it was in a Facebook group. That's where I got it. So like, you're gonna cancel me out for something that's in a group that's already out there amongst other people? So no. We have to resist as far as that goes. We should constantly push those boundaries. We need a Bob Leather out there to be offensive in the rock world, and much of what Bob points out is true. And there might be some things I disagree with, but it's pretty few and far between. And there's no filter. At least you're going to get honesty from Bob Leather at all times. That's what I can guarantee you. He won't bullshit you. So, but if you don't have anything else, I think
Yeah,
I did this
I
almost 2
yeah, I
hours.
think we'll I'm doing this real quick. Did I send you the Thayer St. James thing?
I don't think you said you were going to. I don't think I got.
Okay, well, I'll send it real quick. I think
Yeah.
it's worth. Like I said, I have like 5 albums, things to just rip through. I think the Thayer St. James we should spend a little bit more time on, and I'm
Okay.
sending you the link to the download for that, so you can check it out. It's 6 songs. I got to tell you though, I mean it's almost kind of like a Cheap Trick meets Black and Blue. So it's kind of
That's kind of what somebody else mentioned.
Yeah.
I hate to say, I think that's what the Tommy Summers guy said.
Oh,
too.
okay.
So, yeah.
And it really is. Again, guys like that you can kind of take or leave because they're so, they're off the mark, kind of like with the Neely, right? He tells a story and you're like, I got to hear it for myself. I'm not going to take this guy's word for it.
What's interesting about Tommy Summers is I would take his word about everything other than Kiss.
Yeah.
Because he'll be more honest about all the other stuff. Kiss, he tends to just make everything just glorious that they've done. They can take a shit on a plate.
That is true, because I have heard, like I know with Tommy Summers, he gets the photo passes to shoot bands and he goes, oh yeah, they were really elaborate, this or that, or the stage show wasn't all that great. And it's more often than not, he's spot on, unless, like you said, if it's Kiss related, he's like a total nut swinger.
100%. And so you're not going to get a lot of.
So
I don't mind listening to their thing once in a while. The 3 sides, it's okay. I mean, if you're like the Kiss mind, I particularly like the interviews they used to do with the old managers and the agents, and
Yeah.
the roadies,
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that, because they give you more of an idea what it was like to be around Kiss in those days. But now they just kind of just glossing and glaze and Gene
Right.
and Paul as the greatest thing under the sun, and I'm like, dude, Paul's voice is shot. It's time to go home.
Yeah. Right.
No, send that link to me. I'll
Yeah, I
check that
just
out
sent
all
it.
week long and rock out to it. And then we'll come back next weekend and we'll talk about the 6 songs or whatever and see which
Yeah.
ones we like. I heard 2 or 3 of them at the Kiss thing. On
Yeah,
the,
yeah.
The live
It was
broadcast
hard to
thing.
make those out just because they were in that
Yeah.
little venue and,
Yeah.
you could muffled, and then the person that was recording it was around other people and stuff. But no, it was, they sounded cool. Now it's good to listen to the actual recordings without any, background noise or whatever. But yeah, check them out, and we'll talk about that one, and hopefully we get St. James. I know he said he'd do it. He's just, I think he's gotten a lot of requests to do interviews, and I think one of
I think
them's
so.
Ed Trunk. I think he's going to be on Ed Trunk's show tomorrow.
He
So
should.
yeah.
He should. Yes, good. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Between that and the new Black and Blue song are both rocking. So,
Right.
yeah, if I was him, I would take the momentum, get a few shows, and get Black and Blue back in the studio and finish a
Right.
few more tracks and get out there and play live. I mean, come next summer, he
Right.
could probably have a handful of shows he didn't have before and some
Mhm.
fun stuff to go do. And I'm all for him.
Right.
They feel like a band to me that just needs an opportunity to go open for someone that's got and show that they still have the stuff, which they do. So
Yeah. And
I
we
would,
got
again, go see Black and Blue
Yeah.
10 times over
Yeah.
10 times versus Dokken. So
Sure. And Bob Leather, don't say anything mean about Jamie St. James and Black and Blue. Jeez.
I think he said that he always liked Black and Blue.
Oh,
He
good.
just didn't think that Jamie was a top tier singer. He was a good singer, but not a
Yeah.
great singer. And he felt like they kind of just, like I do, I think they were a little earlier in the 80s than they needed to be if they had just kind of moved it to 86 instead of 83 or 84. I think that some success
Right.
could have been different for them. But I think he was impressed with what I sent him from the Lifeline video.
Yeah,
He
yeah, yeah.
thought that was
Okay.
pretty-
Well,
for
good.
old guys, he was like, they're not trying. They look like they
Mhm.
should for their age and
Good.
sound good. Production was
Nice.
good. So and Bob's big on that, like I am. I hate when these bands put out
Yeah.
something new and you just listen to it and you go, the recording's just not good. Like right from
Mhm.
the get go, they didn't spend any money on this or didn't sit down and really think about what this sounds like. Cause and there's been quite a few examples of that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, no, they should ride that momentum, ride that wave. Heck, what else are you going to do, man? It's just like, fuck.
Right.
You're not going to turn around and be like, Jimmy St. James starting a new band and it's going to conquer
He's gonna-
what Black and Blue did. Like, this is
Yeah.
not going to happen. And he knows that. He's a realist.
Right.
So Maybe he's got Pete and Troy. Is that the guy's name on the bass? Yeah, then those are original guys, aren't they?
The Pete,
Patrick.
Holmes and Patrick. Yeah, yeah.
Patrick, yeah,
So
that's the guy.
you got 3/5 of the band.
Yeah.
Now that is 3/5 Neely, not 3/4 of the band.
Yes, they were a 5-piece Neely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
All right, well, we're gonna wrap this one up, and we're gonna tell you like we did last week to hit them with the hind. So
oh, there you go.
Raise your horns high.